very special way to enter Shabbat. So thank you for that, Don. Shabbat Shalom to all who are with us and all who are joining and exhaling as the week concludes. I learned a term this past week. Someone was referring to how the days seem to run into one another. He said, every day is Blur's Day. Well, that was a pretty good summation, that every day is Blur's Day, but it's Friday evening again. And so we gather for Erev Shabbat, for Kabbalat Shabbat, to receive the peace and tranquility that we welcome when we gather one another to appreciate and to savor what is ours and what we share and what we are capable of realizing together. So I welcome everyone, and I'll go around and invite everyone to bring their own greetings this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Molly May, cantorial soloist, and I invite you to gather your candles and your wine and your challah so that we can, from wherever we are, bring in Shabbat together.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Olivia Tucker here in the tech booth.
And Shabbat Shalom, Don McGann, music director, and I will be accompanying you and Molly and Rabbi Bisno as we greet Shabbat this evening. If you would please join me on page 10 with Mayafa Hayom. Mayafa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Mayafa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Mayafa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Mayafa Hayom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
On page 2 in the Siddur are the candle blessings. And we're going to light together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And we continue on page 16 with part of Psalm 98. I can give my children kisses and dismiss them. Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor. Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor. B'chinor b'kol zimra. B'chatzotrot b'kol shofar. Harim lifnei hamelech Adonai. Zamru l'Adonai b'chinor. B'chinor b'kol zimra. 20, we greet the Shabbat bride, the beauty of Shabbat, with Lecha Dodi, and we're going to sing just the refrain this week. We're going to sing Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat Nekabela, and Shabbat Shalom.
Beautiful. Thank you, Molly. As we conclude Lecha Dodi, traditionally we would turn to one another. Were we together in the chat function? We invite you to say hello. I know that conversation is taking place now, so we invite you there to send greetings and to share good wishes. Maybe something's happened for you in the last week. Say hello to a friend. Dale and I were communicating earlier. I said I'd give a shout out. If you want to write in on Friday afternoons, we can do that like Casey Kasem. But we want to greet everybody and say how special it is that we gather with one another. We continue with our service.
So on page 22 at the indented section is Tzadikat Tamar, the righteous shall bloom, and I invite you to be the righteous voices and allow me to accompany you for Tzadikat Tamar.
On page 26, the Chatzi Kaddish makes the transition from Kabbalat Shabbat to the evening service. Yitgadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei zachol beit Yisrael. Agala bagala uv'zman kariv v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yehi shmira b'mevarach le'alam ulal me'al maya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קודשו.
בריחו.
אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירון בעלמה ויאמרו.
Amen.
We rise in body or spirit for the Baruch, the call to worship, on page 28. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
I want to share with you a reading from 19th century Victorian novelist George Eliot. Says she, "Nice distinctions are so troublesome. It is so much easier to say that a thing is dark than to discriminate the particular shade of brown, blue, or green to which it really belongs. It is so much easier to make up your mind that your neighbor is good for nothing than to enter into all circumstances that would oblige you to perhaps modify that opinion." Oh God, begins a prayer. Oh God, keep us from seeing only black and white in a world of many colors. Do not let us imagine that our people are children of light while others are children of darkness. Teach us to see ourselves in every face, to hear the human spirit in every voice. Keep us from making distinctions that are of no significance, from judgments that serve only ourselves, and keep us from the urge to rise by our neighbor's fall. From prejudice, preserve us. From hatred, redeem us. And from self-righteousness, defend us. Make ours a world of love, ahavat olam.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land. The winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by our joining hands and marching together. Mi kamocha.
יעקב וגאלום יחזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Eternal God, let all your children live together in peace and friendship. Let oppression, discrimination, and prejudice be relics of the past, and let all humanity be filled with your spirit. Hasten the day foreseen by our prophets, the day for which we have longed during the course of 100 generations, when all people shall know and understand that they are siblings one with another, and we shall be united in humble reverence for all of creation, and therein shall know mutual love and respect among all people.
Baruch Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Turning ahead one page, we join in Vishamaru. Vishamaru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein bnei Yisrael oti leolam leolam ki ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
The tefillah begins on page 46 with the meditation and concludes on page 62 with Yehiyu L'Ratzon. We will do the meditation together and then continue with our own silent Amidah. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
As we prepare for Misha Berach, I invite you to take a moment to consider those in your own family and circle of friends, wider community, and perhaps the widest embrace, your locus of concern, those for whom we pray for peace, for healing, for comfort, for rest. And you might share those names if you're comfortable so doing in the chat, in the YouTube chat, and then we will make sure to read those names aloud. We consider the Misha Berach, our prayer of healing, hope, and renewal, the text for which you may find on page 253, should you have a prayer book in front of you, we offer this evening. Mindful of Nancy Berkowitz and Millard Balloon, Olivia Burton, Naum Kaplan, Lee Kramer, Miranda Larson, Liba Haika Bat Rosa, Lavia Claire Takachev, Karen Malka, Badhinda Sara, Lev Podorovsky, Maria Pukshansky, Zev bin Simcha, Elchanan ben Chaya, and Carolyn McDowell. Olivia, are there other names we share?
Yes, Judy Boren, Mark Kovacic, Marlene Bertiotti, and Dina Platitsky.
Thank you. We are mindful as well, all who struggle with anxiety and addiction, loneliness and loss, isolation, infection, fear and grief. May we all receive a refuah shlema, a complete and speedy healing, and soon know shalom. Misha Berach.
I saw an additional name come up that Olivia had posted of John Franco. Misha Berach avotenu mechor habracha laimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our us a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thanks very much for that. I want to share a thought or two, perhaps you'll indulge me a third, about this week's Torah portion in light of the world as we discover it, as we find it, as it's revealed to us, as we come to recognize it, to recognize what's right in front of us, but refracted through different lenses today than, well, only a very short time ago. The Torah portion we read this week is called Pinchas. In Hebrew, maybe it's a way of saying Phineas, as we might translate it into English. Pinchas is a zealot in this Torah portion, and he creates a bit of a stir, to put it mildly, when he takes into his hands an extrajudicial action wherein, well, quite frankly, taking the law into his own hands, he skewers a couple mid and flagrante, an Israelite, a Midianite, and for his action, he is hailed by some as a hero and others as a vigilante. Some tout his courage and others point to the carnage. Some speak of his valor and his integrity, and others to his independence, his impudence, and his vainglory. Perhaps the portion called Pinchas would be better understood as a Rorschach, because it really is through the way in which we understand this action egregious, outside the normal course of behavior, and yet there clearly is something within the individual, within Pinchas, but within society too, that recognizes this as something that takes place between people, perhaps often in the shadows, but sometimes the act is recorded. And what we make of that eruption in the body politic, much like an eruption in our bodies, a disease, a symptom of something deeper lies, says a lot about us. I was reading in the New York Times this morning, it won't surprise you, David Brooks' column. He writes here the following: the world right now is astonishingly complicated. Our systems need reform. I don't think any one vantage point can grasp reality or devise solutions. We have to have an open exchange of views. I thought, what a nice counterpoint to the portion of Pinchas, which forces people or causes people to line up on very different sides of the issue as they see Pinchas' actions reflected, represented in their own lives. Where is the truth within an episode as strange as this? Perhaps in between, but I don't think so. I think sometimes there are clear delineations that need to be made, and the best answer is not found in compromise or in somewhere in the middle. Let's keep looking. Is it in the eye of the beholder? Truth? For sure. It is subjective, of course, our own experience and understanding. And that's not sustainable either, if every individual can make their own truth. Perhaps it's in the hiding and in the search, in the question itself. Said the poet Rainier Maria Rilke, love the questions themselves and live long into the answers. It is in the wrestling, it is in the struggling, it is in the name of our people, Israel. To not give up the struggle, but to engage in it and therein to find that which we seek, meaning and purpose as we move towards, in the American idiom, making ours a more perfect union, and in the Jewish tradition, repairing this fractured planet. Recall the words of Walt Whitman. Let me go back to that. I want to read you one more quote from David Brooks, forgive me. He says, one of the reasons that America is so angry right now is that there is so much dehumanization. Racism reduces a human being to a skin color. The first casualty in a culture, political, or generational war is the willingness to see the full humanity of the other. In this moment, some people seem eager even to dehumanize themselves by reducing themselves to a simple label and making politics their one identity, such as when we might say or hear others say, speaking as a blank, and that is the sum total of their individual definition. Recall now the words of Walt Whitman in Leaves of Grass. Said he, "Do I contradict myself? Very well. Then I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes." We can no more be reduced, any one of us, to a single component of our person, any more than we can know another's interior simply by looking at them. Shadi Hamid of the Brookings Institute, and a prominent thinker in religion and politics, wrote the following, also captured in Brooks' column. He did this on Twitter. As a Muslim and Arab, a brown person, it always grated on me when people would assume things about me merely because of the accident of my birth. I cared about being Muslim and being Arab, and I was proud of my heritage, but that didn't mean that I stopped being an individual. I was a writer who happened to be Muslim, not a Muslim who happened to be a writer. The truth is, we know nothing about another person simply by looking at him or her or them. We each possess an inner truth, but it is an imperfect and incomplete contribution to the larger whole. Similarly, the truth that is in this week's Torah portion of Pinchas reminds us that it is a test of our own perceptions when we see the world about us and begin to internalize it. A test of our own perceptions when we look at Pinchas, when we look at a complex situation in reality. What do we see, and how much of our vision is our own reflection, and how much of what we see is obscured because of our avoidance or unwillingness to look clearly at ourselves? I've said before, the Torah is a response, and the characters a reflection of our highest aspirations. And while we are not the same as those who appear in the pages of our scroll, neither would we be the same in their absence. I want to conclude with this. How many times have I been misunderstood and thought, why did so-and-so jump so readily to a conclusion about me when I am so different from what that person seems to think of me, or when I meant something quite other than how they took it? If that be so, then keep me from jumping to such conclusions about others. Teach me instead to wait, to listen, to learn, and to accept that they don't have to be like me or I like them for us to live together in peace. From readiness to think ill of someone whose sole sin is to possess a different hue of skin or cast of mind, deliver me. From laughing at strangers when I am at home, forgetting that I too am a stranger almost everywhere, deliver me. And from the delusion that anyone can be a stranger on this earth, the cradle of us all, deliver us. Deliver us, O God, from trying to rise by lowering others, from failing to understand that the whole of truth requires all of ours, perceptions, contributions, and persons. Pinchas is a Rorschach for us. What do you see when you look into its pages? Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. We begin to bring our service to a conclusion with Aleinu, which is on page 282, and I will remind you that Aleinu means it's on us. It is on us. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Forgive me, I was stuck toggling between stop video, start video. Well, so we come now to our Kaddish. As we begin to bring our service to its conclusion, we turn our thoughts to those who have departed this earth. We reflect on the anniversary of those whose passing occurred in this season in years past. We cannot help but reflect on our own mortality, the time that is ours to give meaning. On this Shabbat, we remember those taken from our midst, but not our hearts in these most recent days, and those the anniversary of whose passing occurs now this season. I invite you to share names in the chat as you have earlier in the service, and we'll make a point of reading those names aloud also. We remember now Gladys Estelle Bronstein-Burstein, Lucille Cohen Gordon, Susan H. Kantrowitz, Martin C. Sloan. And we remember Hortense Borad, Milton Cowan, Suanna Davis, Rosalind Gaines, Mazie Greenwald, Rose Kaiserman, Ruth Obernower, Lynn Ostro, Eleanor Seed, Dolores Cookie Simon, and Hilda Wertkin. Are there names, Olivia, to share?
We have Irene Haynes, Lawrence Samuel Cohen, David Friedman, Barb Segrett, Joe Anselmo, and Bobby Roberts.
May all of them be inscribed for blessing. May their memories give us comfort. We share the ancient and hallowed words of Kaddish. It is customary to rise. We share these ancient words in their memories. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon. V'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kariz v'imru.
Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah meorach. V'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach. Yitpa'ar v'dramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha.
Richu.
Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Ta'amiran b'alma v'yimru.
Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael. V'yimru amen. Say shalom b'mromav. Uya say shalom aleinu. V'kol Yisrael. V'yimru. May the one who grants harmony and hybrid peace to all of us, to all of Israel, to all the world. Together we say, Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, uyase
especially. Hi there, everyone. Olivia Tucker here. I'm going to share some announcements for the week to come, especially this big one. We are going on the road. For the next 4 Shabbats, we will be in Jerusalem and Denver and San Francisco and Chicago and New York, all from the comfort of your home. So we are going to send out in the next few days a link to the information, or the itinerary, if you will, for our Shabbat summer road trip with everyone in the Jewish world putting services online. It's a wonderful opportunity to explore what is out there. So we won't be doing in-house services. So there won't be our Friday night on YouTube until August 14th, where we'll see you all again. And hopefully I've learned quite a lot from the ingenuity of the Jewish world. Tomorrow morning will be our last Saturday morning for a while. We'll pick up again Saturday mornings, August 15th. But you'll also see us in the YouTube chats, in the Facebook chats, in the Zoom rooms around the world for our Shabbat summer road trip. So mark your calendars that we won't see you here on YouTube, but we will see you out starting in Jerusalem and then Denver. So Shabbat summer road trip, get a woo. Okay. This week we do have some fun programs. Rabbi Bizno is back, so that means Torah and Our Times is back, which is going to be Mondays still at noon. This weekend, tomorrow morning, starts a 4-week series led by Bill Clansmith and Tom Allen about Midot, Tikkun Midot, a spiritual personal growth practice that we have in Judaism that, with everything we talk about, really doesn't get as much light as it should. So hope that it will light up your morning tomorrow morning. That link in the Shalomgram. This week also begins another 4-week program. The Prayer Practice and Learning Committee and the Women of Road of Shalom are combined on a exploration of the Women's Torah Commentary, a project from about 15 years ago that is a brilliant reimagining of approaches to Torah and Torah commentary and the way we see those stories. So this coming Thursday, July 16th, Lynn Magid-Lazar is going to kick us off with a discussion of the history of the Women's Torah Commentary, how it came to be. I have the next week talking about the Daughters of Zelophehad, and we also have Bill Clansmith and Rabbi Henry finishing us off. So 1 week, all on Thursday nights. A bunch of regular programs still on. Tiferet Meditations Tuesday at 6 p.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m. with Cantor Julie Newman. The Sewing and Knitting Group at 11 on Tuesdays. The pre-Shabbat Sip and Schmooze before our Shabbat services on Fridays at 4, which will be going on. So a way to come together through the time that we are heading out on the road. JJAP Rainy Day programs for families. And the book club on Rosellen Brown's The Lake on Fire, an 1890s Jewish Christian romance. So email Sam Siskind for information on that. And if you're not getting the Shalomgram or the various emails throughout the week, please let me know. Tucker, Tucker, at Road of Shalom, so we can get you on. Again, we'll see you for the Shabbat summer road trip next week. And after this service, of course, Zoom Oneg. I turned over to Molly May for our Shalom Aleichem.
Thank you, Olivia. Shalom Aleichem. Greeting the Shabbat angels. Leaving with the Shabbat angels and returning with the Shabbat angels is on page 24, followed by Kiddush and Motzi, led by Drew Greenwald, honoring the Yahrzeit of his grandmother. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Hello, everyone. I'm very honored. Thank you, Rabbi Bisno, for inviting me to lead Kiddush and Motzi this evening in honor of my grandma Mazie's Yahrzeit. So I invite everyone to grab their Kiddush cup, and here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hini lanu zikaron le'maseh v'reishit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, Be'achava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen.
That was beautiful. L'chaim, thank you. I've asked you if you wouldn't mind just sharing a few memories of your grandmother. You've thoughtfully accepted our invitation to lead us in these blessings on the occasion of her Yahrzeit to honor her memory, and I thought that might tell us a little bit about Mazie.
Absolutely. My grandmother Mazie was born in the Old World in 1909, and she came over to the United States with her sister at a very young age, and her father, my great grandfather Louis, made his way over here and worked to get enough money to send them over. And I've really been thinking about her a lot lately because her mother, my great grandmother, actually passed away in the last worldwide pandemic, the influenza pandemic of 1919. She and her sister came over to the United States during that time, and she was fiercely Jewish and was very proud of her Jewish identity and had no trouble sharing it in a little town of Warren, Pennsylvania. I'm just sort of honored to remember her this evening on the Hebrew date of her passing. I have her challah cover here, and I have fond memories of her. She was alive until I was 9 years old. So,
Thank you.
So again, thank you, and I guess here's the motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Te'avon to everyone, a healthy appetite to all. Nourished. Enjoy the challah. And as we wish each other Shabbat Shalom, I reiterate what Olivia shared. There'll be more information coming out about the summer road trip, Shabbatot, the various opportunities we have in the next 4 weeks on Fridays and Saturdays to be with other communities. We've given you all that access. Among us all, and Rabbi Henry too, will be joining into those services. We look forward to savoring all of that together. So watch the schedule. That'll be a little bit different, but it'll provide lots of neat and really special opportunities for us to share that summer travel. And there are places to visit. You'll see the whole thing. We're really proud of it. Shabbat Shalom to all. We'll look forward to seeing those of you who want to jump across to the Zoom Oneg.
Shabbat
Take care.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, I guess we're out.